Folks, welcome to your Tuesday episode of So Bad It's Good. This is your pal Ryan, and wow, we have a jam packed double episode for you today, and it is primarily Love Island USA as we say goodbye to a great summer viewing experience. 36 episodes. We got to meet a cast that a lot of people fell in love with. And I think the right people won Love Island USA. There will be spoilers today, so I'm sure you will avoid this if you do not want to be spoiled. But, now at this point, we're nearing on 2 days, so I think it's okay to talk about it. So these two episodes, we have a cornucopia of Islanders with us today. Really blessed. So this first part, you're going to hear Janae and Kenny. You're going to hear Kendall and Nicole, and you're going to hear Miguel. Now, unfortunately, Leah couldn't be with us. She got flown back to Los Angeles, so I'm sure you'll be seeing her pop up, I would imagine, on Call Her Daddy or maybe Nick's or something like that. But hopefully we'll get to talk to Leah at some point down the line. But I will say all of these guys were just so great today. It is really a weird experience to talk to people that you've been watching for 6 weeks and you're like, oh my God, you're my friends that I made from the TV box. So it was great. Everybody was awesome. And you kind of you just got to think about it from their experience, how they have been kind of shielded away from the world for 6 weeks and having to come back into everything. Think about the insanity that we deal with on a daily basis. And you get that phone back and the world probably hits you like a ton of bricks. And God, I bet at this point they wish they were back in the villa, but they're not. But they're here today with us. And then in the second part, we talk to our Love Island USA winners, Serena and Cordell, and they couldn't have been better. Oh my gosh, you guys, it was so cute. They were like all over each other. They were just like hugging each other the entire interview. And then afterwards, we have Bergie back with us to take us through this last week in the villa. Bergie's been with us now a couple of times, walking us through Love Island USA. So I thought it was only fitting to get his take on everything. So we have a 2-part jam-packed episode. I want to talk about a couple of things up top in regards to Love Island and just the production of it and the social media aspect of it before we get into this. Also, a lot of you guys, the majority of people listen to this show. And I do want to say yesterday, I've been having some internet, Wi-Fi, and power issues. And yesterday was really unfortunate because about 45 minutes into the show, there was some major audio issues that I tried to fix for the audio version. We couldn't do that for the YouTube version. And I understand that it can be a frustrating listening or viewing experience if you're watching on YouTube. I don't take those things lightly, but sometimes you don't know in the moment when something has gone wrong, unfortunately. And when I record these things, it is just myself. There is not a crew of people. Oh my goodness. Maybe someday. I wish, oh God, how amazing. But it's so funny. And I just want to, like, with anything that you do that you love with a deep passion, and I love this with a deep passion, it's frustrating. Each day you make new mistakes. Each day it's like pushing a rock up a hill. It's like Sisyphus, and then at the end of the day you put it out and you start all over from scratch. And even after 4+ years of doing this, you still make these mistakes that, believe me, it can be frustrating to listen to or watch. But on my end, when I wake up and I see comments or something, I feel so horrible because I know how much work went into that. And I also know from a viewing and listening experience how frustrating that can be for you guys, because you show up to support, you show up to kind of take your mind away from potentially the troubles of the world. And I want to be there for you in that. So I don't take any of that lightly. And let's hope, let's pray that everything goes well today. I have now full power. I'm back in my space and I've got a Wi-Fi extender. So let's hope each day it's a new adventure doing So Bad It's Good. How are you guys? Are you good? I hope you guys got into Love Island USA, but if you didn't, remember, we are full steam ahead. Just because Love Island USA is over doesn't mean that there are there are literally so many things that we cover on this show. So we're not going to skip a beat. We've got some amazing guests coming the rest of the week. We're booking weeks in advance now, and I'm really excited about things that are coming up. And just to remind you, I'll be on Sirius on Jeff Lewis Extended this Friday, co-hosting with Jill Zarin. What a world. What a world. And if you like this show, even though there are mistakes, please consider leaving it a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And also wanted to let you know this Wednesday, we are doing a live Patreon. We put up the amazing graphic by Maritza today of me in a hot dog suit, I believe, which is very, it's very me. It's Wednesday, July 24th at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can join us at patreon.com/so bad it's good. And come join. It'll be a live chat for an hour. We can talk Love Island. We can talk OC. We can talk music. We can talk movies. We can talk anything. And also, I'll be doing Vanderpump Rules Season 1, Episode 2 over there this week as well. So what up, baddies? And be a baddie. By the way, you don't have to join up for the Patreon to be a baddie. It's something that you have inside, in your soul. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I got a haircut today, you guys. Man, it's like I'll do like a quarterly haircut. And I think I said this yesterday. My hair just gets poofier and poofier, and I got a haircut. And I had a really nice barber. I don't know why I'm calling it barber. Am I from like the 1930s? But I had a great guy. Like usually, I get scared going to the haircutting place because I'm not good at small talk. But my hairdresser, he had me laughing. Do you feel that pressure when you sit down in a barber's chair, like to keep a conversation going? And then if it's just awkward silence, then you feel bad about that too? Okay, just me? Great. So Love Island USA, it went down to the final 4 couples, which you are going to hear all of them except for Leah in these next 2 episodes. I do want to talk about one thing before we get into this, and it involves social media and how dangerous it can be. And, I know us, we're a different kind of breed. I think we kind of know what's right and know what's wrong and try to be as respectful as we can. But also, I have no problem joking about reality stars. But I will say one of the Love Islanders, Kindle, who you'll hear from today, and, something got leaked, and we just had this conversation about revenge porn in regards to Rachel and Tom on Monday's episode. But there was a sexual situation video that got leaked and just spammed out on Twitter and other social media platforms. And I just think it is one of the worst things it's just a horrible thing that you can do to a person without consent. It's really horrible. There is nothing good that can come of it. I don't know what these people that do this kind of stuff think that they're doing. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's cute. There's no part of it. And you just have to like kind of think about the other people involved. Just because you're on a TV show that's really popular doesn't mean that you need to take somebody down. It doesn't mean that you need to try to destroy their life. I think that's just horrible and it's cowardly. It's so many things. And I will say, Kindle left a message on his Instagram stories about this. And his message, he just wrote, "What a way to get my phone back, y'all. I just want to address the content that came out from my past. That was something I shared to someone in confidence and trust. It's unfortunate that it is no longer private, but it is what it is. I want to thank you all for the calls, texts to support me during this time. I am so grateful for my Love Island experience, and I love you all for tuning in to watch my journey. Excited for what's next." And I thought that was a really classy way to handle something. But you've got to be really careful in these situations. And I don't mean Kindle, but I mean like the people are out to get you in this world. People really want to sometimes make people hurt. And I don't know if I can wrap my mind around that kind of mentality at all. But you also have to think about the after effects of something like that. Especially when you've been away from your phone for 6 weeks and then you get back and somebody has spammed uh, a video that was meant to be private. And I know that we're kind of busybodies and we want to know everything about everybody all the time now. And I think sometimes we take a weird sick glee in making other people hurt. And I just hope that we can recognize as a group, and I know it's not us, but I just hope that we can recognize how horrendous this is. And, you know, in regards to like, I mean, and this is a trigger warning, but stuff like this makes people potentially hurt themselves. I mean, you just never know the situation, what you're adding to, that you're adding to somebody's pain. And I have no room for that. I feel it is so disgusting and so gross. I can't say that enough. And it really kind of, it's all fun and games, and we can poke fun at like the contestants on Love Island, and oh, this person did that, and this person did this, and oh, maybe this person was a little too kiss assy, or maybe this person had a little too much attitude. That's fine. That's normal breaking down of things that we see on television. And you can make memes, you can make all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to something like this, I think it goes beyond the pale, and it takes away some of the enjoyment of the show, not just for us, but of somebody that actually participated in the show. And I think it's really dangerous. And anyways, because we don't get to talk about that. But I'm sure Kendall was really nervous doing press today and having to like kind of face everybody. And I just I had a great we had a great talk still, and he was super nice, super gracious. And I don't know, I just wanted to talk about that. You guys might be aware, maybe some of you might not, but it really was passed around, and it really is one of my least favorite internet trends that goes around of just trying to destroy somebody. I think there is no room for that. Okay, that's me off my soapbox. Sorry, you guys. But I think you're kind of mostly in agreement with that. Now, I wanted to also talk about the social media in a positive way. Is it's wild how many of these islanders, their social media accounts exploded. And that's what the power of these shows. I mean, people want to find out more about these people's lives, mostly in positive ways, but their social media accounts exploded. And that's a really big deal because that really gauges interest for companies, corporations, other networks to want to work with these people. If you have a large social media following, and by the way, let me just tell you, social media followings at the end of the day, it's not going to be put on our gravestones. At the end of the day, it does not matter. Your own lives matter way more than your social media accounts. But it is exciting to see when there's like this explosion of popularity about a show that you really like. There is something exciting about that. So I wanted to walk you through just so you can get a good idea of how large some of these accounts have exploded. Also, just a reminder, as always, there are timestamps. If you want to skip to the interviews, each interview will be individually timestamped. Okay, so let's go through the cast of Love Island USA to show you some of the growth here. Now, Kaylor, oh, fuck, Aaron. She went into the villa with 6.1 thousand followers. She has left the villa with 260,000 followers. She gained almost 255,000 followers as of a couple of nights ago. Now, Aaron, her boyfriend, he went in with 74.8 thousand followers, which is already a decent following. But remember, he won Traders UK the first season. He won. So he gained 133,000 and now has a total of 208,000. Now, Kidney Rodriguez, who you'll hear today, Janae's boyfriend, started with 5.1 thousand followers. He gained 146,000, now at 151. Janae had 51.8 thousand going in, and she gained 435,000 followers. She's now at 487. Cordell went in with 60,000 followers. He gained 298,000 followers, now at 358. Rob, our strong silent type, he went in with 128,000 followers, but he gained 587,000 followers for a grand total of 715,000. Miguel, who you'll hear today, went in with 26.7 thousand. He gained 327,000 followers. Nicole, who you'll hear from today, went in with 5,000. She gained 163,000. Serena, who you'll hear on the second part of this episode, went in with 3.5 thousand. She left gaining 580,000 followers. Wow, from 6 weeks. And then Queen Leah, she went in with 12.8 thousand followers and she gained 1,359,000 followers. She's now at 1.37 million. And this was as of yesterday. And Bergie even pointed out that has gained, like, she's already gained a couple more 100,000. I don't even know how this happens, but that is the power of this. And it just shows brands that's why you will probably see the cast of Love Island USA pop up in a lot of different avenues. And that's what was so exciting to talk to them today, because I asked a lot of them of like, what's next? What are you going to do? Is reality TV in your future? Miguel talked about wanting to be a voiceover artist. He wanted to do acting. I mean, it really is interesting. And we'll probably find out more about the next couple of weeks of their life when they do the August 19th reunion hosted by Ariana, which is going to be super exciting. And then finally, I wanted to read to you guys today. There was a great article in a website called The Wrap over the weekend, and it's called The Making of Love Island USA, How Peacock Pulled Off the Buzziest Reality Show of the Summer in Real Time. And it talks about the production of Love Island USA, which I think is really fascinating. But just to give you a little taste of how powerful this show became, during the time period of June 24th through June 30th, the Peacock series tallied 434 million minutes viewed. And that's almost as long as one of my episodes. No, I mean, that's an insane number. And the show, they, recognize increased in popularity. And they said it felt like a perfect storm for this show. And they also credited Ariana for bringing in fresh eyes among Bravo fans. The one of the producers, Ben Thursby Palmer, the executive producer, says it's really hard to put your finger on, oh, it's a hit this year because of this person or this thing. Every year we try to challenge ourselves to make the best season we can. And part of that, they say, and I agree with this completely, was the casting. They really cast it perfect. Any reality show you see, usually it really is based around casting. Is the right people, the right combination of people. We've seen it so many times on housewife shows or Vanderpump Rules or even a great season of The Bachelor or Bachelorette. It all depends on these characters and how they cohabitate and intermingle with each other. And this year, the casting was just top notch. And every Islander I talked to, when they talked about the casting process, they talked about how, not intense, but how thorough it was and how they don't really reveal their cards, the producers. A lot of them didn't know if they were going in as a bombshell or going in as a casa person or going in as a main cast member. They keep those cards close to their chest because they don't want to ruin anything for the Islanders. So the executive producer says there's always a fallout because they could always discuss their decision making. And they said, I think that has helped. They're talking about the casting process and how all of these relationships formed. And I thought that was interesting because they even use as examples Aaron and Rob's bromance. Is that even that was an interesting thing based around the casting, that, you didn't just have these romantic relationships, but you had bromance, you had this sisterhood. Now, in terms of the filming itself, they use an example of like, okay, so Monday happened in the villa. And what they do is they quickly condense that down to an hour-long show that premieres Tuesday evening. That's how they would do it. So they really have this quick turnaround time. The 19-hour time difference in Fiji, they say, worked to the editing team's advantage. That by the time the episode is edited late at night, the day the action happens, it's actually early morning in the United States, and that gives the team only hours to polish the rough cuts into an episode. They say, we see an edit as it comes in. The Islanders wake up. The control room will be commissioning scenes based on what's happening. They'll label them things like boys make breakfast for the girls. And 15 minutes after it's happened, it's in our edits and editors are on it, making it a scene. So that's how quickly they're working. And it really is like a hats off to that production team that they turn around things that quickly. You see that breakfast scene or that breakfast scene is happening in real time. They're immediately in there editing it. The show has about 30 editors and 20 producers working across different departments and processes. So the editing starts with the story team, which compiles individual moments and conversations to build into scenes, which are subsequently handed to the Stitch team, who put together a collection of scenes into 6 or 7 acts. Now, I know this might be boring to you, but I think it's just super fascinating because it's storytelling. It's how they actually deliver the story. This process is aided by an executive producer who has already decided a running order of which conversations are best to include in the episode based on whether or not the team believes a certain relationship or storyline has potential. So they'll see what they think that we will love. They'll see those kind of dark horse storylines and really make it so we see that content. While the show's streaming nature enables editors not to be beholden to commercial breaks, you sign up for this streaming service, so they're not slapping a lot of ads on that, which they say works to their advantage. The daily episodes typically stick to the hour mark. Oh, but they were blown way past that in a lot of episodes. With the exception of some bigger installments like the fallout of Casa Amor or a dramatic recoupling. In crunching down a whole day into one episode, the producer admitted there must be a judgment call on whether a story has legs or if it's going to go somewhere. Every so often, you'll notice in the series we have featured a story and it didn't go somewhere. They were pointing to a potential connection between Liv and Rob, which was never explored further. Quote, after Casa, their headspace moved on, so we don't always get it right. We're always making that call on, is this important or is this going to change by tomorrow? And that really is interesting because if you think some of the conversation around Love Island, we would be like, oh, is Liv and Rob going to get together at some point? Was that they were thinking the same thing. And then it never really just went anywhere, even though they teased it with a couple of moments because they thought it's almost like betting on a horse. Like, oh, we think something's going to pay off here, but sometimes it doesn't. Now, after the team comes to finesse everything to the ninth degree, that's when the series narrator, Ian Sterling, tonight. I love that guy. He adds his vocals to it. And Sterling, he narrates both Love Island USA and Love Island UK. So the USA team has Sterling for a window during his evening into early morning, which is early morning for the team in Fiji. So he's at a whole different location. So they've got like a little window of time with him that he can do those voiceovers. Because remember, he's doing the voiceovers for UK as well. The producer says by the point we've got a working running order, so he'll be seeing the rough cut. He watches it via Zoom, and he and the writers get together and literally write as they're seeing it. So Ian's also writing those things that he's seen. They're just observing the funny things in the scene or remainders of what happened in the story that gets recorded while he's at home on his microphone. Now, other movies and TV are edited according to a voiceover. DeStefano pointed out, the producer, that Love Island USA works in the reverse order, adding that Sterling, the narrator, is reacting to the edit and the cut. The narration is added to the episode just in time for a screening for Peacock's legal and standards and practices team, who might have Sterling go through some of the acts to make necessary adjustments. So then lawyers get their hands on it to make sure that they're not liable for anything crazy. And then they talk about the show's music. So there is a on the ground music supervisor and clearance team. A clearance team is who gets, the rights to these songs that you hear. Now the show outsources their music clearance to a company that they've been working since February to get desired songs cleared, which are then organized in a spreadsheet with categories like romance, arguments, drama, and tension. And of course they feature chart toppers like Sabrina Carpenter, Chapel Roan, and they said, including the well-placed Please, Please, Please in the onset of Kaylor Martin and Evans's near breakup after he made a connection in Casa Amor. As well as up-and-coming artists, musical decisions are made quickly, with the producer emphasizing everything changes fast in real time. Now, the show's tentpole moments, like the challenges or Casa Amor, they provide the rough structure for the season. But Love Island USA, they say, is steered by the Islanders. They are the heartbeat of the show, prompting the producers to be flexible on timelines for recouplings or bringing bombshells in to shake things up. Quote, we play along with what's happening in real time in the villa. If everyone's really happy in their couple, there's no real point to recoupling. If they're all sleeping in different beds all around the villa, we need to reset and put them back together. The executive producers also wisely choose their moments to inject information from outside the villa to the Islanders, such as the video footage from Casa to the girls, or including viewers' tweets in a social media challenge. It's based on story, the producer says. adding that while it's the producer's call on whether information should be disclosed to the Islanders or not, what then they do with that information is entirely in their hands, in the Islanders' hands. So over a month into the run of season 6, the executive producers, start gearing up to bid the farewell to the Islanders, and where the vote is decided by the fans. Now the show has already been renewed for a 7th season, which will likely air next summer. The producer says the show's been really strong this year, and obviously there's been a lot of drama. They do row with each other, but you do that with your best friends anyway. It's about them coming back together and resolving and moving on. It's about character. It's about the interplay between these characters. And I'm so happy that we get to talk with a lot of them today. So let's get started. Where shall we begin? You know what? Let's start with Janae and Kenny. They were my first one of the day, and it was really fun. And these are really loose, and you can tell I'm very excited. Also, I want to thank Danny Gossip Girl on Instagram, DANI Gossip Girl. She has a great Instagram account, and she will always give me some like little questions or pointers that I love. Also, a thank you to Danielle at Hollaback Cards. She has great Love Island merchandise. If you're looking to get something special for your, a Love Island fan, she also gave me some things to think about as well. But here it is. Here's the kind of final hurrah for Love Island USA. And I'm really just appreciative that I got to talk to so many of them this season. So here we go, guys. This is a big one. Part 1, and then go over to part 2 to hear the winners and Bergie. Here we go.